Winter wind swept through the streets of Chicago, pushing icy air against the glowing windows of Lakeview Prime Steakhouse. Inside, the world felt different, warm, golden, insulated from the harshness outside. Crystal glasses clinked softly. A jazz trio played near the bar. The scent of grilled steak and rosemary butter drifted across the room. At a corner table, beneath a dim chandelier, sat Ethan Caldwell. His navy suit was tailored to precision. His posture straight, his eyes observant. People often described him as calculating. Financial media compared his bold investments to those of Elon Musk, though Ethan preferred silence over spectacle. He believed something simple: patterns reveal truth, and tonight, he was studying one. Across the dining room moved Sofia Ramirez. She wasn't flashy, no dramatic smiles, no exaggerated politeness, just steady, consistent focus. She placed plates gently, never clattering. She memorized special requests without writing them down. She noticed empty glasses before customers did. But what caught Ethan's attention was subtler. When a customer snapped impatiently at her, "We've been waiting 10 minutes, she didn't flinch. "I'm sorry for the delay," she said calmly. "Your order will be out in just 2 minutes. No irritation, no defensive tone, no forced cheerfulness, just composure. Ethan tapped his fingers against the table thoughtfully. Most people react emotionally to small stress. She responded strategically. That difference mattered. The night carried on. Business executives discussed contracts. A couple celebrated an anniversary. An elderly man asked for extra napkins. Sophia moved like quiet clockwork. Then, the front door slammed open. The sound sliced through the music. 2 masked men rushed inside, boots pounding against marble. One fired a shot into the ceiling. Screams exploded. Everybody down, now. Glass shattered as someone dropped a wine glass. Chairs scraped violently across the floor. Panic rippled through the room like electricity. Chaos is contagious. People fell over each other trying to hide. A woman cried out for her husband. The pianist ducked under the grand piano. Ethan's body tensed. His pulse accelerated. Adrenaline surged through him. He scanned the room quickly. And then he saw her. Sophia. She had frozen for exactly 1 second. Her brain registering the threat. Then she inhaled slowly. Not a gasp. A controlled breath. She placed the tray she was holding quietly onto the nearest table instead of dropping it. She crouched behind the service counter and gently guided an elderly woman down with her. "It's okay," she whispered. "Stay low." Her voice wasn't loud, but it was steady. The first robber stormed toward the register. "Open it," the manager fumbled, hands shaking violently. The second robber waved his gun wildly across the room. Nobody moved. Most employees were trembling. Sophia wasn't. Not because she wasn't afraid, but because she had practiced something most people never think about practicing. Control. Her eyes scanned the room, exits, customers, staff positions. Her movements were slow and deliberate. Under the counter, without even glancing down, her fingers found the silent alarm button. She pressed it. The action was invisible. Habit. Ethan noticed. The robber suddenly pointed at her. "You, come here." Several customers gasped. Sophia stood up slowly. "Okay," she said softly. She kept her hands visible. Palms open. "I'm going to walk to the safe," she narrated calmly. "No sudden moves." The robber barked, "Hurry up." But she didn't rush. Rushing causes mistakes. Her breathing stayed rhythmic. In through her nose, out through her mouth. She entered the code carefully. The safe clicked open. While the robbers grabbed cash, she glanced at a crying child hiding beneath a table. She gave him a tiny nod. It said, "It will be okay." Sirens wailed faintly in the distance. The robbers cussed. "Let's go." They ran out into the night. The restaurant remained frozen for a moment. Then reality returned in waves. People sobbed. Someone vomited. A man shouted, "Are they gone?" Police officers stormed in seconds later, weapons raised. Ethan slowly stood. His heart was still pounding. He had negotiated billion-dollar deals without blinking. But tonight had shaken him. Across the room, Sophia was already moving. "Are you hurt?" she asked an elderly guest. She poured water for a woman whose hands were shaking uncontrollably. She found blankets for 2 teenagers who were crying. Only when everyone else was seated safely did she lean against the wall for a brief second. Her hands trembled now, just slightly. Fear delayed, not denied. Ethan approached her carefully. "You were calm," he said. She gave a tired smile. "Not really. You didn't look afraid." "I was terrified," she admitted. "But panic doesn't help anyone." He studied her expression. "How did you do that?" She hesitated. My father was a firefighter, she said quietly. When I was little, he used to run drills at home. Fire alarms at random times. Emergency scenarios. He'd say, your body listens to what you practice. She folded her hands to stop the shaking. He taught me something important, you don't rise to the level of the moment. You fall to the level of your training. Ethan felt something shift inside him. Most executives he knew relied on confidence. This woman relied on conditioning. The police began interviewing witnesses. Security cameras had captured everything. News crews arrived within an hour. By morning, the footage aired nationwide. Headlines flashed. Millionaire witnesses waitress stay unbelievably calm during armed robbery. Clips replayed Sofia guiding guests, opening the safe without shaking, whispering reassurance to customers. Social media exploded. How is she so calm? She's braver than most leaders. That's real strength. But Sofia returned to work 2 days later as if nothing extraordinary had happened. Same steady walk, same attentive service, no boasting, no interviews. Ethan returned to the restaurant that week. Not for the steak, for the pattern. He watched her again, how she handled a spilled drink without irritation, how she diffused a rude customer with measured tone, how she double-checked details without being told. The robbery had not created her calm. It had revealed it. Greatness, Ethan realized, isn't built in crisis. It is exposed by it. As he left that night, snow falling softly over Chicago, one thought echoed in his mind. Panic is practiced, calm is practiced, and practice becomes power. The world was shocked by what they saw on camera. But Ethan wasn't shocked. He was convinced. Habits had just saved a room full of people. And he intended to understand them. 3 months after the robbery in Chicago, life seemed to return to normal. But for Ethan Caldwell, nothing felt the same. He couldn't forget that night. Not the gunshot, not the screams, not the silence after, but most of all, not Sofia Ramirez standing still in the middle of chaos like the eye of a storm. He had built empire, she had mastered herself, and that difference haunted him. The offer. When Sofia walked into Caldwell Innovations headquarters for the first time, the building felt colder than the restaurant ever had. Glass walls, steel elevators, executives moving fast with tablets and tense expressions. This was a battlefield of another kind. Ethan didn't waste time. I'm not offering charity, he said firmly. Sofia nodded. Good. I wouldn't accept it. A flicker of respect passed between them. I'm offering opportunity, paid education, leadership training, crisis management certification, and a position here if you complete it. She blinked. Why? Because when pressure hit, your DID&T collapse, Ethan said. And right now, I'm surrounded by people who do. Silence filled the room. Then she said something that surprised him. I'll accept, on one condition. Ethan raised an eyebrow. I want to start at the bottom. I don't want a title because of a robbery video. He almost smiled. Deal. Training the mind. The next year was brutal. Sofia worked mornings at the restaurant, afternoons in classes, nights studying behavioral psychology and crisis leadership. She learned about neurological responses to fear, the amygdala, adrenaline spikes, cognitive reframing. But theory wasn't enough. She trained practically. Cold exposure every morning to conditioned discomfort. Timed decision-making drills. Public speaking in hostile QRA simulations. Emergency response scenarios with unpredictable outcomes. When classmate panicked during timed exercises, she focused on breath. Inhale 4 seconds. Hold 4 seconds. Exhale 4 seconds. Habit, not emotion. Meanwhile, Ethan watched from a distance. Board meetings grew more aggressive. Markets fluctuated unpredictably. A major competitor launched a disruptive product. Pressure mounted. And then it happened. The collapse. One Monday morning, Caldwell Innovations stock dropped at 8% in 4 hours. A massive investor had pulled out unexpectedly. News channels blasted headlines. Analysts predicted disaster. Employees whispered in hallways. Inside the emergency boardroom, tension felt suffocating. Executives shouted over each other. We need to cut staff. Sell assets. Blame the PR team. Voices overlapped. Fear multiplied. Ethan stood at the head of the table. For the first time in years, he felt it. Panic. Not visible, but rising. His heartbeat pounded in his ears just like the gunshot that night. His palms felt slightly damp. If we lose confidence, we lose everything. The room spiraled. Then he noticed someone sitting quietly near the wall. Sofia, now a junior crisis analyst. She wasn't speaking. She was breathing, slowly, observing, not reacting. And suddenly he remembered her voice in the restaurant. "You're done, T. Rise to the moment. You fall to your training." Ethan straightened. He placed both hands firmly on the table. "Everyone, sit down." His tone wasn't loud, but it was controlled. The room quieted. "Fear is contagious," he said calmly. "But so is discipline." He began outlining a recovery strategy: stabilize investor communication, transparent press briefing, internal reassurance plan, short-term liquidity bridge. The shouting stopped. Logic returned. Structure replaced chaos. Within 2 weeks, the stock rebounded 19%. Within a month, they secured new funding. The crisis didn't destroy them. It refined them. The recognition. At the next annual shareholder meeting in New York City, reporters filled the hall. One journalist asked, "Mr. Caldwell, what changed your leadership during the crisis? Analysts say you were unusually composed." He paused. The room leaned forward. "A waitress taught me something," he said. Soft laughter rippled. He didn't smile. "She taught me that calm isn't personality. It's repetition." Cameras flashed. "Most leaders train strategy," he continued. "Few train their nervous system." Across the stage, Sophia sat quietly. Still not seeking attention. Still practicing stillness. The turning point. 2 years later, when a cyber attack threatened to leak sensitive company data, it was Sophia who led the crisis response team. Hackers demanded ransom. Employees panicked. Social media exploded with rumors. In the operations room, screens glowed red with alerts. But Sophia's voice remained steady. Step 1, isolate affected servers. Step 2, notify legal. Step 3, internal communication in 15 minutes. No shouting, no emotional reactions, just process. The attack was contained within 48 घंटे. Financial damage, minimal. Reputation damage, controlled. Board members who once doubted her now stood to applaud. Ethan watched quietly from the back. The same waitress who once carried plates now carried pressure that could crush executives. And she didn't bend. Final moment. Late one evening, Sophia stood alone by the window overlooking Chicago again. Snow fell softly, just like the night of the robbery. Ethan joined her. "Do you ever stop being afraid?" he asked. She shook her head. "No." "Then what's the difference?" She smiled gently. "I trained my fear to follow instructions." He let out a quiet breath. The world had once been shocked by her calm in a robbery. Now they were shocked by her leadership in billion-dollar crises. But the secret had never changed. Small daily habits, invisible repetition, emotional discipline. When life points a weapon at you, your habits decide whether you freeze or lead.